All right, guys, welcome back to another live podcast with your man Jay Will. So, as the title says, I want to specifically talk about OnePlus. Now, OnePlus, the OnePlus 5 in particular, it is coming. And yesterday, on June 5th, I talked about it. You know, the release date and everything. So. Today I wanted to focus on the OnePlus as a company, or just the OnePlus 5, and what we should really expect from them. Now, there's a bunch of rumors out there, and there's a bunch of leaks, but OnePlus themselves have actually been leaking information, if you will. They've been actually sharing things about the device. So, you know, I think they're really focusing on cameras. I think they're going to have, you know, their own. Well, they're leaking the device themselves, if you will, but they're giving little sneak peeks. But I think the camera might be their primary focus. Now, I'm hoping that that's not the only thing that they focus on, but that seems to be the main thing that they're actually focusing on. So they've got this competition, and I've spoken about this before. They have this competition going on where you can actually get a OnePlus 5. You just link them to your pictures on Instagram, and they will in fact send you a OnePlus 5. And you know, it's interesting to see that some of these companies. I'm not saying OnePlus, but I guess let me just be direct. I don't want to have to, either you're going to do some beta testing with your device or you're not. And OnePlus is basically just wanting to control everything that happens instead of just giving it out there to picking some people, giving it to them, letting them test it out. And that's that. So with that being said, it could be a positive thing. You know, you do want to control who you give the device to in some senses, but if you're really picking strangers online to send a OnePlus 5 to, which I highly doubt, because the device is getting ready to come out on June 20th, or it'll at least be announced on June 20th. And, you know, I just don't see OnePlus doing that. Like the last time that they did the thing where they were like having people test their phone, that was so exclusive. Like, and then they show the people afterwards, you know, explaining how much they like it and everything, and that's perfectly fine. I just kind of, I'm curious, you know, about how who's the brainchild behind how they do their marketing. Like, who's the person that's sitting back saying this is going to be a fantastic way to market? Kind of curious about that. I'm still up in arms about, you know, who is the one giving these orders on how to market their devices. Let me share this on Google Plus here. And, you know, I don't have the OnePlus 5. I do plan on, when new devices come out and they're very intriguing, I do plan on grabbing them. But some devices, if there's too much time passes by, I don't even bother to pick them up. Or I'm really patient and I'll grab it later. You know, I'll grab it once the price drops or if I can find a good deal on it. So I did review the OnePlus 3. I did review I got both colors of the OnePlus 3 and I eventually got rid of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to review the OnePlus 3T now that the OnePlus 5 is coming out. And I'm not going to like do unboxings and all that. I think I'm just going to get it, review it. I'm going to have it, review it, and roll with it like that, I guess. I do want to get the OnePlus 5 because I do want to compare the OnePlus 3 to the OnePlus 5. I want to see if there's going to be a dramatic difference in performance and things like that. You know, that's what I kind of look for, just to kind of help you in a decision to see if it's really worth the upgrade. And people now, for example, who have the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, you know, I've often told them, you know, don't upgrade if you don't have to, man. Don't buy that. You know, don't buy the S8 if you don't need to. The S8 is a great phone, but it's not a phone that is. It's not something that you have to run out and buy if you have the S7 Edge. And likewise, if you have the 3T, you may be a OnePlus enthusiast and you want to collect them all. I respect that. But if you're not a OnePlus enthusiast and you just happen to get the OnePlus, I wouldn't, for people who have the OnePlus 3, I think they will be actually just fine with not even getting the 3T or any of the new ones if they don't need it. So, and I think only the tech people really are buying. Only us. We're the only ones buying all the devices as they come through. Pretty much, we're the ones that's buying pretty much all of these devices as they come up. So. And, a lot of devices aren't meant to get to the masses. I don't think OnePlus is trying to reach the masses because they're not linked to any carriers. They're not in Best Buy. They're not selling exclusively through Newegg or B&H Photo. They're not trying to sell, it appears, through anybody. They chose some random retailer from way overseas somewhere, and that was their approach for the first test run, and they only put out 250 of the phones through them or something like that. Man, I know they're taking it slow, but you gotta go for it sometimes. They're not a new company anymore, technically. They don't have that many products out there. But another thing about the OnePlus company is they discontinue their phones afterwards. Like, they'll bring out a new phone and just completely discontinue the other one. I don't agree with that type of business. And it's just going to, hey, some people in the chat, hey, Total Tech, Total Tech Android Gangsters is in here. And what's going on, man? And Chris is in here. Chris has become somewhat of a regular to the live podcast. The cameras, I've reviewed the cameras on the OnePlus 3, and the cameras are actually really good. I've just come to realize that there are other companies out there that actually produce great cameras. And one phone that I'm glad I eventually got was the Sony Xperia XA Ultra. I remember several people saying how great that phone was, and I remember several people saying how horrible it was. And I always try to get the stuff myself so I can comment it on myself. And I'm totally happy. Total Tech says he's leaning right now in the new E39M5. He's rolling out, man. Yeah, you rolling hard in that bad boy. Shout out to Total Tech, man. He's been incognito, man. He's been doing a lot of tech, but he's hasn't been on too much social media. So shout out to him. You guys know who TK is, man. Everybody knows who he is. There's no introduction is needed because he was been on YouTube for a long time. I haven't seen him on too much social media too much. I guess he's laying low, or maybe it's me. Maybe I'm laying low. But the OnePlus 3, man, just OnePlus as a company, I feel like if they don't, it's almost like they have to rebrand themselves already for the legacy that they put in place for the way they sell their devices already. Does that make sense? Like, they caught a bad rap with that silly invite system. Then they came back and changed it to something else. They just, instead of just coming out with the products and selling them like every other OEM, put them in Walmart, do something. Put the phone somewhere to we can use it first, and that's going to make it better. TK says hiding in the bushes. Guys, if you're listening to this podcast afterwards, or you're watching this on YouTube in a video format, I'm basically chatting with these guys in the live stream of the podcast. So remember, I will be doing these podcasts much longer, and I'll be doing more of them coming up pretty soon. Probably not just on Tuesdays. So just look for more through the podcast, because I really want to transition to doing a live radio show. I think this is a lot more fun at times. So TK said he's actually looking forward to what OnePlus has to bring. The OnePlus 5, yeah. For those that don't know, TK is not a big fan of OnePlus. And He says he's a known hater of OnePlus. I don't know. I think you like OnePlus, man. It's just their way of doing things. It's just not a straightforward approach, you know. See, and the problem with that, they could really do well if they linked up with Best Buy. If they're worried about returns and all that stuff and losing capital, they really should sell their phones off like every other OEM. Make a deal, sell the phone. You know, let the OEM buy 100,000 of them, 500,000 of them. Let Best Buy buy 100,000 of them. You know, let the people buy them and let them deal with it. You know what I'm saying? You just give the support, because right now, OnePlus, I've been told, you know, they don't have the best support. And I actually have not had to deal with their support. But, you know, the fact is, they're not known for doing business the way most OEMs do, which is being straight up. In New York, we call them a stand-up guy. In Jersey, we call them a stand-up guy. You know, if you're a stand-up person, you just come with it and you just do what it is, and that's it. OnePlus hasn't proved that to me yet, you know, to where I'm going to support them full-fledged. Now, I'm not making videos and podcasts to trash. I'm actually interested in the OnePlus products, but you got to get some kind of way to get yourself out to the masses instead of just doing these crazy promos and all this kind of crazy stuff. Just sell the devices, man. Take a chance and sell the stuff. And I'm also very surprised at how so many people come to their defense for the reason that they're not doing what they're supposed to do. That just surprises me. People made excuses the last time I talked about OnePlus. Not everybody, but some people made excuses talking about, oh, they don't want to lose money. No OEM, no one wants to lose money when they're trying to get their feet out wet in the, I mean, come on. But the OnePlus 5 announcement is at least on June 20th. And again, I talked about this the other day. It's official now. OnePlus themselves have leaked out, or not leaked, they've actually published, can't call it a leak, they published stuff about the phone already. And OnePlus teamed up with DxO. I'm still not a fan of that. I don't understand that relationship. Because right now the U11 holds the highest mark at a 90 from DxO. And that doesn't mean that the U11 has the best camera, because I don't have it yet. But however, I will say that based on what I've seen, it pretty much is the best camera. And I'm going to experience it for myself too, because right now I think the U Ultra has a fantastic camera, especially the front camera. So we shall see. However, the OnePlus 5 is coming in 2 weeks. So get everything ready to see the announcements. I'll be bringing you some live coverage on it. I'll be excited to bring you live coverage on it. And like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I'll probably, to get myself motivated, pump out a OnePlus 3T video. Now, I've never unboxed the OnePlus 3. I've never owned the OnePlus 3T. So, you know, I'll go ahead and try to bring that to you next week. So, look for it in preparation to the OnePlus 5. I'm from Jersey, man. Chris is asking in the live chat for the podcast that I'm from Jersey, Trenton, all day long. But, you know, OnePlus, to me, they don't have a long way to go. They just need to change their strategy. That's what they need to do. They need to change their freaking strategy, and that's it. So, I'm going to close out, but trust me, guys, I'm going to start doing, at the request of a lot of people, you know, like, Jay, you got to start doing longer podcasts. Trust me, I will. I've explained it. I've been straight up about it. I've told you, look, I have a bunch of free time on the current plan on here, so I'm going to use it. So once that free time runs out, you'll get a lot more live podcasts, or at least longer. And man, I'm already at 1650 for subscribers here on my Spreaker. So thank you guys for that. I'm at 1,650 people following me on Spreaker for this live show. So I owe you a longer podcast, and I owe you more content on Spreaker as in live, because I really like doing these live podcasts. I got to tell you, they're a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? They're a lot of fun. So I'm totally excited about doing live podcasts. So as I cut here once again, I will update you guys on when I'll start extending the podcast to 45 minutes, an hour, or just unlimited. I don't know. But look for more. It's your man, Jay Will. 1,650 people on here, man. I'm loving this, and I appreciate the support. And I will transition to a live podcast show very soon. Take care. Thanks, guys, for joining me.